Welcome to the Classy Stevo podcast, where every day is a golden moment in time. We talk about the news, artistic culture, training methods, nutrition, and more for classic bodybuilding, as well as updates on the fitness industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The show is about to get on rolling. Well, heyo guys, welcome back to the Classy Stevo podcast show, where every day is a golden moment in time. So guys, I recently posted a thing, if you saw on my IG stories, about covering the recent 2019 Pittsburgh Pro guest posing event. And it got some pretty good feedback, so I wanted to cover that for you guys, for the ones that wanted to hear about that recent event. Now, if you guys know and you've been following this, this has been a pretty big news-breaking thing in the bodybuilding industry right now, simply because of the recent physiques that kind of came into this posing event. Now, of course, guys, if you know me, you might already know what my personal opinion and feedback is on this event. Now, of course, before I say anything, I am not trying to slander or say anything bad necessarily. I'm just giving my honest feedback and my opinion, and I would love to hear yours as well. This is like an open discussion kind of podcast, so I would love to hear your feedback after this. But basically, covering this recent event, of course, one of the biggest talks right now is about Shawn Rhoden. Now, if you guys saw pictures of him recently, I posted some on my Instagram as well. He came in for this posing event, hit a few poses on the stage and whatnot as a guest. And I have to say right off the bat, obviously he was on a very heavy off-season kind of look. Obviously, like the definition, there was really no definition there. Now, I do want to say, in all fairness, I have been a huge fan of Shawn for a long time now. I think he's brought one of by far the best Mr. Olympia physiques to the stage as to date, especially with the past Olympia in 2018. That was like one of my all-time favorite physiques of his, other than towards the very beginning back in 2013, I believe, in 2014. I really liked his physique as well, but I've always loved his physique so much because it's kind of been, I wouldn't necessarily say a classic physique per se, but he definitely has almost like a borderline classic / modern day looking physique. But it's the fact that he always brought in such a tight waist, you know, to where it just really amplified or really helped show his overall symmetry and stuff. So I've always loved his physique, you know, the wide shoulders, narrow taper, very tight obliques on the stage during the Mr. Olympia competitions. But I have to say, recently, when he came in on this guest posing, it just blew up my brain in a sense, because I was just like, wow, this guy had so much mass on him, and it was just so soft and kind of puffy looking in a sense. Now, I know, like, today's standards, this is something that I really wanted to say, is that today's standards of off-season physiques are like pretty much dramatically all the way in the other direction different from the old school off-season physiques. Now, of course, you know, back in the day when people would go on off-season, like Arnold and stuff, you know, typically a lot of those guys would like go off of gear and stuff, and they would get softer looking. They would lose, you know, some good size, but they didn't like drop, you know, go out of proportion. They didn't like bulk up and get like super, super puffy and big and stuff, where it just looked absolutely like you couldn't even tell they were like a pro bodybuilder. You know, they let their bodies kind of relax and they stepped it back a notch or two, but they still kept their bodies in relatively decent shape. Especially Frank Zane. He was probably one of the most well-known guys that actually kept in a fantastic shape all year around. Now, of course, you know, bodybuilders, you don't have to necessarily maintain a super tight physique year round. It's okay, you know, to let go and kind of take a break and, you know, let your physique kind of soften up a little bit. That's normal. But seeing today's pro bodybuilders, the way they go about doing their off-season look is just like, wow. That is just, it's so crazy to see how much size, and just they get so soft, they get so bloated looking, and it's just like, in my personal opinion, I feel like it's completely unnecessary. There's no real sense behind it, because in the end, I mean, without getting super technical, I don't believe it's really going to result in huge muscle gain differences versus just doing like a clean bulk and gaining some decent size, but without letting your body completely just go to hell and back, you know? So I never understood why bodybuilders went to these extents. It just doesn't look good. I guarantee you it's not healthy overall to let your body gain that much mass and basically body fat and just all that water weight and stuff. It just can't be good on the joints. It can't be good on the body. And honestly, at the end of the day, they have to cut that all back off. And really the muscle gain difference versus just doing a clean bulk and trying to keep it in a slightly, better conditioned state for the body, it just doesn't make sense. So that's just my personal opinion. But I mean, it's not like what Shawn Rhoden has done. It still doesn't change the fact that he brought in some incredible, if not, like I said, the best physiques towards the past Mr. Olympias. And honestly, seeing his changes he's made and stuff and how quickly he can cut down and get ready for the Olympia has always proven in the past. So just because he looks like this now, I mean, the next Olympia, he could easily come in looking absolutely fabulous. So, I mean, I will always give him credit for that, but it's just seeing these kinds of off-season physiques, it's just, to me, it's disturbing just because I don't personally agree with their methods. It's just too extreme, and it's just not good on the body overall. So that's kind of my personal feedback, but, this happens year after year. It's not uncommon. I think I just got a little shocked by seeing Shawn because, I've seen him in the past guest posing years, like in 2015, 2016, 2017, and he was still hefty and big, but his abdominals were still slightly visible. He came in not quite as puffy and bulky looking for like these guest posings, especially after, every year at the Pittsburgh Pro. In the past, he's just looked, still decently well for even being bulky and stuff. But this year was just like an eye turner. Like I was shocked. So I would love to hear your guys' feedback on this. Like I said, I'm not trying to personally like say any hate or anything like that. It just was more of a shocker to me for what I feel like standards should be. And it's just, to me, I feel like it's a bit much to let your body go to that extent. So that's just the overall opinion on my end. I would love to hear your opinion on the feedback here. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he came in too heavy? Do you think this is the right representation or a good example to set for, the bodybuilding industry in general? Because we have, younger generations looking up to these guys, and I'm just wondering, do you think this is kind of a bad influential standpoint or expression to show future generations of bodybuilders and whatnot? So let me know what you guys think. I will catch you all in the next podcast. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to share this with others, guys. I really appreciate all your support, and I'm glad for all of you that are interested in these so far. So I would love to hear your feedback on that. But anyway, guys, have a golden day, and I will catch you in the next podcast. Cheers. Thank you again for tuning in to the Classy Stevo podcast. Material is generally posted on a weekly basis, so please stay tuned in for the next release. Your support, guys, is greatly appreciated, truly. So feel free to share this podcast with others and spread the positivity with them. And always remember to have a golden day. Cheers, guys.